This is the Lismore Sale Yards, where we'll be running our Aussies Lead for Farmers Feed, DRSA Incorporated. A special thank you to Kevin from the Sale Yards to allow us to use this property to run our trucks through of all the donated fodder that has been supplied from Victoria right up to Queensland. We greatly appreciate the support that we've been provided so far, and we really look forward to running this event on Saturday the 16th of July. See you then! Steve, known as Riles from Riles Media and Aussies Lead for Farmers Feed, are joined up to make a documentary. This documentary, we are hoping to get some traction to make change in the industry of farming to support hobby farmers and smaller farmers. We would like your story to be heard. We would like to know of the challenges that you, the smaller guys, the hobby farmers out there, have faced. I, organising the Aussies Lead for Farmers Feed, have faced a numerous amount of challenges to try and get some donated fodder to your animals. One of those stumbling blocks has been the Rural Assistance Authority, New South Wales. They have a natural disaster transport subsidy for donated fodder. However, I was unable to access this subsidy for the truckies that are bringing our donations here because the donated fodder wasn't 100% for primary producers. I would love to see this changed. I would love to see all animals in this industry, in the farming industry, be supported. I would love to see some change. So if you can step forward and tell us your story and tell us how it's impacted you so that we can make this documentary and try and get some traction for change, we'd love to hear from you.
Hi, I'm Stephen, known as Riles from Riles Media. I'm just joining Sarah on the plea for people to be able to tell us your story. An example is back in 2007, 2008, I did a documentary on the drought. There was like that 10-year drought. I was working on a vineyard and all of the orchard growers, whether they were oranges or grapes, they all had a water allocation which they had to pay for. But during this drought, they were restricted, and we started one season basically on 0% water allocation. And but then they put water on the market, so you could actually buy water even though you owned a allocation of water. And as the season went on, the percentage went up. But one of the growers on my documentary that I did, 3 Blockies in a Drought, he was a table grape grower and he had to spend an extra $180,000 for his water to be able to get enough water for his table grapes.
Well, it was a bit devastating at the time because we'd had all hoped that gradually as the season progressed the allocations would increase. But we've been probably conditioned to it by the Minister saying continually that there was no water to be had. So we made that decision, a quantum decision, to go out and lease water in at whatever the market price.
So yeah, I wanted to do the story to highlight the drought. We had acidic soils.
These images show the result of acid sulfate soils. The water looks black. When I visited this area, it was an eerie feeling, like I was on another planet. Strange colours in the soil around the water's edge. This water was totally void of any sort of life that I could see.
I showed that. I went to certain places, the lower lakes. There was yachts that were sitting on they were just beached because there's no water for miles or kilometres. And some of the growers down at the lower lakes, they actually had to extend their pump pipes up to a few kilometres to actually get good water. And I had a local guy from where we were in the Riverland who was working with Centrelink with the drought relief group, and he took my documentary down to Canberra where he played it to the people in Canberra that were making decisions on people's lives.
That's been a problem all year. Every time you want to go to irrigate, you're going through all these exercises, whether you can avoid it, whether you can put it off, whether you've got enough water to keep going. But to start off at 2% is pretty miserable. I think we've got 2% because they kept saying it could be 0.
You know, the growers that were suffering from the drought, you know, for all different farms and whatever. And after they played that 57-minute documentary, he had to share about another 2 hours with them. He had to explain what was on the documentary, like so many megalitres of water per hectare, which we had to have a certain amount to grow the right fruit. And he also had to explain where the lower lakes were and a number of other things. So while they try to do their best, they are in their offices and they don't get out often and really have a clue at the decisions they're making on your behalf. So we're putting a plea out. Please, we need people to tell their stories from the farms at what you're going through. And as Sarah said, we want all the animals, the cattle, the sheep, whatever you have, as a small farmer, that you should get help as well. We want things to change. So please help us by giving us your story. Thank you.